All right, up at the top left part of the map, we have our Zerg player from the team MVP. Some call him the final boss, but he is.
MVP Dongregu.
MVP Dongregu. There he is.
It's their final shot at first place spot.
Yeah, that's it. He needs to win the rest of the games here. MVP fan there in the crowd.
MVP
and
for the win.
Down at the bottom left of the map, we have our Terran player. Winner of the last game, he is.
TSL Clyde.
It's a great ID, you know? It's just Clyde. He's got the Clyde burns.
He's got those Clyde burns, man.
It takes a while to grow something like that, man.
It really does.
Yeah.
He is pretty dedicated.
He is. Dedicated to improving as a Terran player, dedicated to improving as a facial hair possessor. Don't know.
Dongregu appears to be going for 15 hatch, and we may see yet again from Clyde a 14 CC. So it's looking like.
I think it's definitely looking like that.
How's that SCV do it? He takes that chunk of metal out of his pocket and slams it on the ground.
Well,
starts building itself.
I can tell you how. You ever see Dragon Ball Z back in the day? They had like the capsule stuff, you know,
yeah,
they throw it on the ground, turn into like houses and cars. Same thing. The Terrans saw that show back in the late 1900s, and they just spent a couple hundred years adapting the technology to use today.
It all just makes sense to me then.
Yep, that's the official lore.
That's the official lore.
You can use that
Then
Blizzard.
call Dustin Browder and ask him, and he'll be like, yeah, that's what's up.
They're like, oh, how do we explain that? Well, there you go. That's it. Capsule Corporation. Got big.
Sounds pretty good. Capsule
so.
Also a great musical group to listen to.
Yeah, man. I've been listening to them all week. I'm like addicted to
Capsule's pretty good.
Slightly electronically oriented Japanese pop music now.
You should listen to Perfume. You guys should look that up.
I've been listening a little bit to them. Quite good as well.
Well.
So, yeah, not a lot going on yet in the game. Very basic openings from each player. I like Clyde's decision to go command center first on a map like this.
He has added 2 barracks, very similarly to how he did last game.
Yep.
I wouldn't be surprised if he added 2 more and went into the 4 barracks pressure play, just like we saw last time. Force a lot of lings, back up, be very safe. Obviously, what's going to be very different is I don't think that Dongregu is going to add a Roachborn. He hasn't yet.
No, I
really just don't think he's going to do it.
Dongregu can be very creative from time to time in his play. But something like that with the Roach Warren is something you don't see quite as often, even in those types of players. That looked almost more like TSL Revival, actually, who's a Zerg player that loves using Roaches against Terrans.
Very true.
Especially Roach drops. But, Dongregu has to have some sort of plan for this map. He did pick it.
He has pulled his drones, all but one, out of the gas after he got certain speed going.
Huh. So possibly thinking of taking a pretty quick third.
Very difficult to do that on this map, though, because of the rocks.
It really
is. You have to take a hidden third, essentially, which is hard to defend. But in these positions, it does kind of make sense. It's not a third that you would take closer to your opponent. It is further away.
Yeah, it is much more defended in these positions than it would be normally, too. Ooh. Clyde has to fly all the way around.
Clyde going up to 4 barracks again, just like last game. Cool. In the exact same build, starting to add his gases as well.
Yeah, and so he could put some pressure on with Marines early in the game. Dongregu playing very economically.
Second extractor going down for Dongregu.
Every time I hear Dongregu's name, like I hear the last part, Regu, and I think of spaghetti. I haven't had spaghetti ever in Korea. I wonder if you can make it.
You should. Ooh, baneliness. You should try something called chapagetti, which is not like spaghetti at all, but it's kind of like this noodle that's like jajangmyeon. Do you know what that is?
No.
Well,
sorry.
I'll just have to.
I'd probably know it if I saw it. I don't know the names for everything yet.
I like chapagetti better than spaghetti myself personally. I'll have to show it to you sometime. Got some at the house actually.
Oh, really?
I'll show it to you. Yeah, I bought some. It's good.
So much good Korean food. Now, I would have to imagine that Dongregu is planning some sort of high economy baneling action, and Clyde is setting up very, very well for that. He's getting that second bunker. That's a really big deal to get the second bunker in the back, and also putting another supply depot in front of his first bunker. So all in all, it's not going to be easy for him to hold it off, but I think he's going to be in a really good position.
Well, it's funny because he hasn't really seen anything that would lead him to believe that this is what's going on. He actually has only seen the hatcheries. He's literally scouted nothing else. He has no reason to believe this is coming. In fact, He's just playing so safe.
I think it's...
How much is Dongrigu really going to commit to this? Is he really going to...
He's going for it.
It looks like he's really going to commit to this. Now,
Yeah.
Clyde has 2 bunkers, but he does have a very vulnerable supply depot wall.
Yes, he does. Now, here's the thing, though, is that...
Oh, is he going to see it? Oh, he didn't go all the way down. He just checked. This is why Dongrigu is so smart. He kept all of his units away. Oh, no.
Oh, he's actually moving out. What is he doing?
Oh, no.
Clyde! That's not even a Clyde. That's
I don't
Clyde.
even think Automaton 2000 could hold this off with Micro, man.
I don't think so either, Wolf. Here come the Banelings. Taking out a good amount of SCVs. Gonna go after the bunker as well.
Targeting down the Banelings. The Banelings not doing as much damage as they could have, and Clyde holds. I really thought that Clyde was going to get his units in the middle of the map caught, but it looks like Dongrigu didn't see them. Like, they just missed each other, like, you know, ships passing in the ocean or something. What's that phrase? Ships passing in the
night?
Yeah, in the night. Yeah,
whoa! Micro! And he loses a couple Marines, but not too bad. So somehow, miraculously, Clyde comes out of that in a pretty good position. He lost some supply depots, lost a couple barracks, but he's pretty far ahead of Dongrigu right now, economically, I believe. I haven't looked at the worker count lately, though.
42 drones to 37 SCVs.
So never mind.
But you have to keep in mind that
no third yet.
There's actually a common misconception that people have is when things like this happen, they look at the worker count and go, well, he still has more drones, but it also means he has no units. He has 42 drones and 9 Zerglings, so if Clyde attacks him right now, he's extremely vulnerable.
Well, a lot of Zergs would have liked to take a third around this time, too, so there is that as well. So yeah, Clyde definitely ahead right now.
Engineering Bay finishing up here. Reactor starport is done. Medevacs are coming to join Clyde's units. Lair is done. Baneling speed hasn't been started. He needs to get that ASAP. He's going to need that. He's starting his Spire right now. This is going to be a really good timing for Clyde to attack. Because of that, Creep Spray is being a little bit cautious about this.
Yeah, the creep spread for Dongrigu is really, really good this game. Not just going with like one creep tumor in a line, you know, he's got dozens of them. And a scan here is going to take out a lot of those creep tumors, though.
Yeah.
If he decides to scan, which I have to imagine he probably will. He's waiting for the right moment. Oh, he's got a micro against these Banelings first. Look at that. Targeting down the Banelings.
Beautiful micro, losing nothing.
You know, I've had a lot of Zerg players that come to Korea tell me about the Slavic would talk about it all the time. Happy Zerg, you guys know him as. He would say if you have to have a huge amount of Banelings because if you only have 3 or 4, they'll just all get focused down before they get to the Marines. Look at that, doing some damage from the low ground. He might be able to get that Queen. He does.
And that was the second Queen he was able to get. This type of drop is so difficult to deal with. Look at that, picks up before the Banelings can hit, then drops on the other side.
Wow.
Spinecrawler going to go down here by the looks of it. And then he can just drop on the other side. 7 meters are on the way, and when those come down, it's going to shut this down. But I mean, he's killed so much. Even going to get this Overlord.
Yeah.
Force the drones off the line.
Dongrigu just not having enough units to deal with this. Watch him focus down the Banelings. Oh, he's actually going to pick him up.
He tried to focus down, but he was like too good. He's like, I calculated that it's impossible to kill that Baneling. It's going to have 1 hit point left I have to pick up.
He's got like little beads on his sideburns. He uses it like an abacus. Do math real quick.
Unfortunately, though, it's going to be into this drop once those 7 meters are out.
Did he see that Spire? Well, he knows he's out now, obviously, but... Oh.
Really nicely timed attack. Right now, the supply is 110 for Clyde to 86. 86 for Dongrigu.
Yeah,
he's going to take out that drop.
If Dongrigu falls, that's going to be the end of the hopes for MVP to get into first place as well.
Meanwhile, Clyde has destroyed his rocks. Look at that, putting 2 turrets up, even getting a bunker. He plays so safely.
Yeah.
Those Marines getting caught. Those Marines, they didn't play safe. They played Foursquare in the street.
It's so dangerous.
It's so dangerous, man.
Mexico's like, you kids, come back in here. It's dangerous.
Everyone remembers the time when they would play like little games in the cul-de-sac and then one of the mothers would be like, car! And everyone would have to get out of the street until the car passed, even though the car wasn't that close. You guys know what I'm talking about. There was no one yelling that for those Marines, though.
No. They didn't yell, Banelings. You know, the scary thing is when you're taking, like, driver's ed, and they show you the videos of, like, the ball bouncing in the street, and you're like, do you want to kill children? No, I don't.
This dropship has been hunted.
Yes.
Dongrigu is on the loose.
The Clyde Hunter. Oh, not even. Wow. Clyde, you know, when he knows he's going to lose a medevac, he's just like, fine, all the Marines are dying too. Just how it is.
That's just how it is.
Just how it is. They don't deserve to live.
+2 Carapace on the way. Flyer attacks level 1 just finishing up here. Whereas Clyde's upgrades are about to be 1-1 for his Marines. Already has +1 attack, getting that armor upgrade. Armory on the way, so you can start getting that 2-2.
Yep. Now, Dongryu's going to try to do some harassment, but I think he's going to find that he'll be in the same position that Monster was, where it's just really difficult. Oh, never mind. He's just got enough meters.
Clyde did not put the turrets up in time. But
yeah, he had 3, but it's just not enough.
Starting some more. Moving across the map as well, the majority of his units.
Yeah.
Knowing that Dongryugu just doesn't have a sizable army yet. He's trying to build up his Baneling count. It's not there yet, though. He's going to try to sandwich, going for a flank here.
Now, Clyde does also have to worry a little bit about counterattacks as well, to a certain extent.
But again,
like
just like last time, Clyde's kept a lot of Marines back at home. He has a bunker at his 3rd base. He's got missile turrets up. He should be fine against any type of counterattack that Dongryugu tries to throw at him.
Oh, and look at that. Clyde just pulling back, eliminating a lot of creep tumors, making sure that the spread doesn't spread.
Making sure that Dongryugu doesn't take a 4th, making him feel uncomfortable at all times is really what Clyde is trying to achieve. And now that Clyde has gone home, Dongryugu has started that 4th base, but that pressure has just made it so much longer before that's happened.
Well, Clyde's really playing a spoon tearing style.
Nice. Spoon tearing it up.
Yep. Spooning it up. I don't know if that quite applies.
He just took out some turrets. Keeping Clyde in his base. Dongryugu doing a great job spreading his creep despite losing a lot of that creep. His creep spread has continued. He's controlling the watchtower now.
Clyde's in a difficult position. I mean, he could move out, but Dongryu's got enough mutas that, you know, he could do a lot of damage as well. But he's going to need to worry about this army at some point.
The siege tank count is getting pretty scary. He's got 8 of those.
Yeah.
Does pick off some Marines. Nice little attack there by those mutas.
Well, the Marine count's getting pretty scary as well.
Yeah, man. That's really the tale here. I mean, he's got so many Marines, he can just split them and kill everything. This is a really scary push by Clyde.
Being very methodical about it, sneaking up way before the creep.
Clyde needs to take the 4th base soon, though. He is starting to mine out. His pressure is working pretty well for him, but again, it's not going to last forever because Dongryugu has just been so patient. He just avoids the army repeatedly, forces it to turn around.
Well, you can kind of power on 3 bases like this, but Dongryugu is such a good player that I don't think this is kind of a sustainable way to do it. Look at that drop getting caught as well. Oh! More Marines getting annihilated by the Banelings, and the drop for Clyde, here it comes!
He saved those drops because he knew that he wasn't going to lose them, but with all these Banelings coming, he's going to lose the contents of those drops.
Yes, he will. But, you know, that's another big chunk of army that's not going to be able to engage the main force of Clyde.
And speaking of big force, look at this. Zerg force coming to do a massive counterattack. Clyde's going to have to send a lot more than a few units back to hold this.
And they're going right for the mineral line, I bet. Oh, look at that. That siege tank really helped out quite a bit, but this is still a huge attack by Dongryugu. Clyde moving into the 3rd base as well. This is getting tense.
Looks like he's just going to go for some type of trade here. Infestors are out. They don't have enough energy for fungal, though.
Not the best meter control by Dongryugu, losing quite a bit there, just flying over the base, not doing anything. And Clyde is suddenly looking like he's going to be pretty good.
Yeah, I think he's absolutely fine. You're exactly right.
Yeah.
You're saying the meter control was poor.
Yes, it was.
And now that army that you just saw flash up there is all that there is standing between Clyde and victory. Clyde even has a drop that he's sending to the main base. There's no answer for that. He's actually going to send to the 3rd base instead of there's less than no answers over there. Look at the Marine spread, the tank spread here for Clyde.
Dongryugu is going to be about ready to move in. Here he goes. And that is just not going to be enough stuff.
He hesitated. His infestors came in without doing any fungals.
Yep.
And Clyde is going to take out the Terran killer here.
Dongryugu's flashing red so fast right now. One more kick.
GG!
And that is it.
And that's it.
TSL.
TSL clinches first place.
They are going all the way straight to the semifinals. That's a big deal. Huge cheer from the team TSL. Very, very happy right now.
They did it.
That's right. Wow. And they did it with Clyde.
Great play by Clyde in both of those games, showing awesome TVZ, showing patience, multitasking, a strong build order. Dongrigu played well, but he made some rough decisions similarly to Monster, whereas he expected Clyde to be less patient, but Clyde was just patient. And Clyde had so many turrets, Dongrigu thought, well, I'm just going to steamroll through here, and he just didn't. He sent the Banelings at the tank rather than the SCVs, and he just overcommitted to that attack.
He made certain mistakes here and there, and those little mistakes here and there ended up making it impossible for him to win in the end. You know, those little things do add up. Just at the end, you know, where it looked like he had a chance to do some damage, just kind of doing that move command with the mutas over all the missile turrets and the Marines. I mean,
well, the other thing is, it all comes down to coincidence, really. Like, Clyde moved out and he didn't see that army coming, and Dongrigu moved out and he didn't see Clyde's army going. And it was like, and then like that situation was created, but then how do you deal with that situation? Do you go home? If he had gone home, Clyde probably could have held at the third base location of Dongrigu quite easily. So, you know, he did the best that he could in that, given the situation. The cards were just dealt to him. He had bad cards. There was no real way to deal with that, you know?
There were the other things going on, too. You know, the drops from Clyde were doing a ton of damage. Dongrigu was having to expend a lot of resources to have to defend against that as well. So, I don't know. It's those little things, man.
Well, obviously this isn't over yet, despite the fact that TSL has clinched their first place spot. We're still going to play this out. MVP going to pick their next player.
This is where things might be getting pretty fun.
Yeah, man, I want to see this guy's teeth.
We need a big smile from him. If he wins, we'll see it.
Clyde's got to pull out the garlic.
I know, they're like, do you have garlic in the booth? Okay. Now, he can only play on dirt from his native land.
It's his first time playing the GSL. He's a Protoss player.
Yeah.
I think Protoss suits vampires.
Yep. So Clyde was already the monster farmer. Is he going to be the vampire slayer as well?
You're going to start calling him Blade?
Wooden stakes ready? They're like, Daywalker, no! So we haven't seen this guy play at all yet. We're going to take a 5-minute break, though, real quick, guys. We'll be back. The Forces of Darkness versus Clyde coming up on the GSTL. Don't go anywhere.